Swinging a high fly ball. They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Holy cow!
And here he goes! It's time to step across the line with James Collier as he takes you inside the octagon of sports. With the latest from the world of sports with scores, interviews, and the hardest-hitting analysis in the business. Let's step into the octagon of sports.
Let's go!
With your host, James Collier.
And a pleasant good morning from inside the octagon here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network. James Collier, happy to have you along with us here as we are ready for some Black Friday football across the Commonwealth. Regional championship games playing out last night. We'll check all the scores across all 6 classifications and preview those matchups that will play this Friday, and the trip to Kroger Field on the line between the 6 classifications. We'll take a look at college football, top 25, the latest college football playoff rankings out for the third week, 3 weeks still remaining to make some movements in there. One team that is just absolutely getting so much injustice from where their ranking was this week after a loss last week. We'll break all that down. NFL scores with Week 12. Some games that are going to shift seismically the playoff picture of how things could go out. One game already going down on Thursday night. And the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the week coming up a little bit later on in the show. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll dive into games from around the Commonwealth last night as we've got Black Friday football on tap in the area. We'll break it down. We continue here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Looking for the latest archery gear? Check out Borders Sporting Goods for your best selection of Hoyt and Matthews bows, as well as 10-point crossbows with a full selection of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with a full selection of benchmark and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small you need to keep your firearms safe. Before your next hunting excursion, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. My place for the game?
Zach, you never have food.
I'm going to Clark's Pump and Shop. I'm loading up on crispy crunchy chicken, Hanger 54 pizza, and chips.
Well then, I'm in. And way to support the family business.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family, because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations, or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Let's get back inside the octagon of sports with James Collier and Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLGC.
Back inside the octagon here on Across the Line. Let's go through the scores from around high school football last night. Regional championship round and Black Friday football on tap for 4 teams in each classification. So we're down to 24 remaining teams still playing football this week. We'll start first in Class 6A. It was South Warren over Henderson County, 49-21. Ryle in overtime over Frederick Douglass, 28-27. It was St. X over Male, 31-14. Trinity hammers Madison Central, 64-27. So again, this past on Friday, it was East-West RPIs. Now it's the 4 remaining top RPIs. It doesn't matter east-west. So here's how things line up for this Friday in 6A. It'll be South Warren entertaining Ryle, and Trinity, will head to St. X. And yes, they did play this year. So they'll play their state championship game at 4 o'clock on Saturday, December the 6th. All right, in Class 5A, it was Pulaski County over West Jessamine, 49-14. Atherton beating Bowling Green, 49-21. Owensboro hammers Fairdale, 41-7. And Woodford County over Scott County, 45-31. So that sets up Pulaski County entertaining Atherton, and Woodford County will head to Owensboro. In Class 4A, Boyle County, no problems with Covington Catholic, 49-14 are the Rebels winners, and it was Corbin. I think this is maybe what one might consider an upset, but a nice win for Corbin over Highlands, 35-21. Luke Salmons, the head coach for Corbin, former head coach at Cabell Midland several years ago, and led the Knights to several successful teams. I believe they won a state championship or at least got in that area, but he took the job. I think he's on his 3rd season down there now, so interesting thing there, but nice win for his team. On the bottom half of the bracket, it was Franklin County over North Oldham, 42-25, and Paducah Tillman pulled away from Logan County, 48-27. So that sets up Boyle County entertaining Corbin, and Paducah Tillman will head to Franklin County. I think it's a Boyle County, Franklin, or Paducah Tillman. I think that's going to be the 4A. I've kind of been after that one for a while, but I think that's where that one's going to play out. All right, Class 3A, a big shocker here. Cal, another running clock win over Union County, 48-7 last night. Bell County with a tough win over Lawrence, 16-6 in a very defensive-minded football game. Hat tip to Lawrence County and Coach Alan Short and his Bulldogs. A phenomenal run for them. Just ran into a really good Bell County team. And take nothing away from Lawrence County. I know there were some people from Lawrence County that were ticked off and upset because me and several of the people in this area all picked Bell County and said, why don't you support the local kids? Because we pick somebody in a pick 'em is not supporting local kids, okay? That's a problem in our society. We're so caught up on everything and these little minor details. It's stupid. Who cares who I pick in a pick 'em, okay? It has nothing against that. I was pulling 100% that Lawrence County goes to Bell County last night, got a win. And I would have been happy if all the Lawrence County people wanted to come back and shove it in my face and say, hey, see, you don't know what you're talking. I don't care. Look, I don't go to bed at night worrying about my pick'ems, okay? But I'm going to make my pick'ems based on what I think is going to happen. And if that upsets you or offends you, sorry, get over it, okay? Stop being so soft in the world. But again, it has nothing to do. I mean, it was like all the people from the Independent got the same message. It's like, thanks for supporting local kids. How does a pick'em just not support local kids? I don't get that. Either way. But hey, congratulations, though, to Coach Short and your Bulldogs. A phenomenal run. A win, again, would have loved to have seen the advance, but, man, Bell County's really, really good. Lloyd Memorial pulls away from Russell late, and they get the victory 28-13. And then it was Murray in overtime over Lex Cath, 20-14. So in Class 3A, Cal will entertain Bell County. Sorry, Bell County. Congratulations. You win last night. You get to go to Cal and probably get clocked on Black Friday. And it will be Murray headed to Lloyd Memorial. So the Juggernauts will get a chance to play for a title berth that will be on Saturday at noon on December the 6th. All right, in Class 2A, man, we've got some really good ones in this one. It was Ocath over Somerset, 27-16. That one was a really good matchup, exactly what I expected. Somerset, the Briar Jumpers, maybe one of the best nicknames in the entire state, gave Ocath all it's wanted. But Ocath is one of those teams, too. They've been a bridesmaid for so many times. At some point, they're becoming almost the Buffalo Bills of high school football. You know, a lot of silver in that trophy case, no gold. This may be the year, but they're going to have some potential juggernauts that are usually there to have to deal with. On the bottom half of the bracket, congratulations, you're going to get to play Beechwood, as Beechwood blanked Prestonsburg 42-0. In the lower half of the bracket, LCA over Mayfield 35-16, and Belfry beats up on Breathitt County 41-14. So you've got Ocath and Beechwood, LCA and Belfry in the Class 2A semifinals. They will play their championship game at 4 o'clock on Friday, December the 5th. And this is a game I'm here for, is Belfry-Beechwood. Give me that matchup, please. I've talked about it for about the last 3 weeks. If there's any way when we get into the playoffs that we can get a Beechwood-Belfry matchup, I would be all for that. And I think that would be a remarkable showdown, to say the least. But, man, Belfry's going to have their hands full with LCA. LCA is a really, really good football team, but so is Belfry. So Class 2A, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see how that one plays out. All right, and in Class Single A, Raceland last night, a defensive stalwart, did not look good offensively at times. They got things going a little bit later in the second half, but they hold Paris without a touchdown. They gave up a field goal and a safety, but they win over Paris 27-5. Pikeville over Middlesboro in running clock fashion, 42-14. It was KCD blanking Newport 37-6, and Campbellsville over Newport Central Catholic 28-0. So an interesting matchup in the semifinals of Class Single A. The two teams that are going to play host to their opponents were beaten by them in the regular season. Pikeville will come to Raceland Friday night at 7:30, and it will be Campbellsville at KCD. And then the winners will play at high noon December 5th to open up the state championship at Kroger Field down in Lexington. So we will have the game for Raceland and Pikeville. We'll have a special pregame show. It'll be a 1-hour pregame show. I'll start at 6:30, and then we'll kick off at 7:30 for some Black Friday football. But we're going to have lots of stuff we're going to cover throughout. A big week for the Rams, again, picking up their 5th consecutive regional championship, their 9th in program history. It was a career night last night for Shannon Marucci as he rushed for 165 yards. He had 222 total offensive yards on 10 touches. He had 8 carries and 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns, a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown. But he beat his previous career high. That was 143 yards. It was in last year's semifinals at KCD. But he had one run last night that was probably one of the most bruising runs I've ever seen at the high school level. I'm not so certain that he did not make contact with all 11 Paris players on the field and may have gone over to the sideline and hit a couple on the other sideline before going into the end zone to score. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was beast mode 2.0. Marshawn Lynch would love to see the clip of this one, I will tell you that. But Shannon Marucci was running angry last night. And the Rams, again, their defense, the offense has not looked solid over the last few weeks. It's had glimpses of greatness and some glimpses of, my God, what's happening. And last night that was the case. But the defense has been lock solid. And I think that's, again, when you talk about what you have to do, you've got to hang your hat somewhere. And I think the Rams are certainly going to be able to hang their hat on that defensive effort. But, again, this is a rematch of Week 3, the Lightning Bowl, if you will, in which Raceland was up 27-0 into the third quarter. After playing under Lightning from the opening kickoff, the game gets halted for Lightning for just a little bit over an hour. Pikeville comes back out and scores 35 unanswered and ends up winning that game 35-27. It was the only loss of the season for the Raceland Rams. So Pikeville last night looked very strong. Jaden Justice ran for 5 touchdowns, and this one's going to be a war of attrition. On the other side, Casey and Campbellsville, this one's going to be a rematch of a 27-17 win by Campbellsville in the regular season. So KCD, again, trying to find that mark to step on past. They keep running into someone in the semifinals while being the host team. The last 2 years, it's been Raceland who have gone to Lexington and gotten that victory. Now can they get past Campbellsville after a tough loss in the regular season? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. The Raceland-Pikeville game is going to be very intriguing, though. So coming out of the Raceland win, They lost to Johnson Central 35-14, and they got hammered by Belfry 41-3. Since then, 56-0 over Powell County, 35-8 over Southwestern, 38-0 over Paintsville. Again, 3 kind of cupcakes, if you will. The one game that kind of stands out is the Hazard game. They won that game 24-6, and it was not that far apart late. It was Pikeville finally pulling away late in the fourth quarter in that one when they win at 24-6. They closed the regular season with a 42-7 win over Bracken County. No problem over Williamsburg, 56-18, and then beating Middlesboro 42-14. And a lot of people will just simply look at Middlesboro and say, well, that was an undefeated team. They just rolled over. Middlesboro hadn't played anybody. I'm sorry. Their record, okay, they were 11-0 coming into the event, and they were behind. Their RPI was behind a team that was 9-3. That tells you a lot about what you need to know right there, okay? Middlesboro's best victory on the year might have come against Breathitt County, and outside of that, was about it. They beat Breathitt first game of the season, 50-36. They got a one-score game against a one-win Harrison County team, 36-34, and they beat Sayre by 7, 34-27, who lost to Paris last week, 14-10 at home. So, again, I'm not writing off what Pikeville did last night. I think Pikeville's a very good football team, and I think it's going to be a great matchup when they lock horns with the Race on Rams. But on the backside of it is I'm not reading into a whole lot because I've been very open about this. I didn't think Middlesboro had played anybody. And, again, they play in an area where we don't see that area. Now, down in the kind of the far southeastern part of the state. I think they're down that way toward Bell County. But you finally play somebody, and all of a sudden you get wrecked. And again, we've talked about this at length of some of these teams that they play the RPI game to get those RPI points and the high RPI seedings, and then all of a sudden in the playoffs they finally run into somebody, and they get absolutely train wrecked. Well, that's what happened to Middlesboro last night. So, Raceland and the Pikeville Panthers, Friday night, Black Friday, 7:30. We'll begin our countdown to kickoff coverage at 6:30 from Rams Stadium. We'll have some special features. We'll do some interviews. Lots of camera angles. I don't think we're going to have any rain. It's going to be cold, though. Looking at the forecast, we're looking at a high of probably around about 30 to 32 when we kick this one off. So it's going to be a cold night when we put this one in the air. Would love to see some snow roll in. There was some meteorologists earlier in the week. They started trying to put out this snowmageddon possibility of this giant snowstorm that was going to roll in here with potentials to hit on Friday of Thanksgiving. And, I mean, this was just absurdity. They were throwing snow totals out there that we could see somewhere between 8 to 12 inches. And then the true meteorologists that are in this area, a.k.a. Spencer Atkins and Chris Bailey. Spencer Atkins is the meteorologist at Channel 13 up in Huntington, and Chris Bailey, who spent some time at WSAZ before moving on to KYT down in Lexington. Both have actually come out and said, guys, this is one scenario of many possible. And the basic fact of it is that this system that they're tracking, and again, this computer models they have, they can track so much for so long. But they said we are to the point to where we could see basically a shutdown snowstorm or a flake and a flurry. Well, okay, that's like walking outside and saying you got a 50% chance of rain today. No kidding. You got a coin flip of it's going to rain or it's not going to rain. Okay, boy, you really went out on a limb there. But there's so much mainstream media that do this kind of junk. And I don't know how much of this stuff is not driven by backdoor advertising. Hey, it's Black Friday. It's, one of the busiest times of the year. Let's put a little more panic into people. Let's say that, hey, there's a massive snowstorm possibly coming. And let's get everybody to rapidly start doing stuff and spending money more than what we need. I don't know. I mean, call me a conspirator, but it happens more than it doesn't. And it's one of those deals that are out there. But we'll see how it plays out. But I would love to see an entire football field covered in snow. Selfishly, as a broadcaster, that's one thing I have never had an opportunity to do is call a snow game. I had one opportunity when I was at Marshall. We got to the stadium. We had snow on the field. It was completely covered at about 9 o'clock that morning, a 12 o'clock kickoff. At 11 o'clock, the sun popped, and every bit of the snow was gone before we kicked off. And that was my snow game possibilities gone. So I don't think we see snow on Black Friday. I think it's going to be cold, but hopefully we see a really good football team as the Raceland Rams try to punch their ticket into the state championship game for the 4th consecutive season as they look for their first ever state title, trying to do it in season 100. All right, we'll take a break. We come back, we'll dive into college football as we look at top 25 games today. And I'm going to look at the college football playoff rankings and why there's one team in there that needs to say enough is enough with the scheduling. We're just going to do what we want. And an entire conference needs to follow that suit. That's as we continue here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Looking for the latest archery gear? Check out Borders Sporting Goods for your best selection of Hoyt and Matthews bows, as well as 10-point crossbows with a full selection of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with a full selection of benchmark and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small you need to keep your firearms safe. Before your next hunting excursion, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. My place for the game?
Zach, you never have food.
I'm going to Clark's Pump and Shop. I'm loading up on crispy crunchy chicken, Hanger 54 pizza, and chips.
Well then, I'm in. And way to support the family business.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family, because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations, or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Hank FM weather.
Your Tri-State weather forecast is brought to you by Perry Distributing in Ironton and Ashland, proud distributors of Budweiser and Bud Light.
This morning starts partly sunny and mild with afternoon highs reaching near 67. For this evening, the clouds build in with rain possible after midnight and lows around 45. Then for Sunday, we'll see a cooler day with periods of rain throughout the day with afternoon highs near 56.
This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLGC.
Back on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network as we get back inside the octagon and we dive into college football as we look at games around top 25. Today at noon, it's Rutgers up at the shoe. They're playing the undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes. Buckeyes, call them a 30-point favorite. They probably cover in this one. A really strong team. This team, they're legit. They deserve to be the number 1 team in the nation for sure. Number 3, Texas A&M welcomes in Samford. This is the get well weekend, by the way, in the SEC, and rightfully so. They deserve that weekend to have. Number 22, Missouri is at 8th ranked Oklahoma. This one's a kind of a pivotal game here for Oklahoma. After getting the nice win last week over Alabama, they've gotten themselves to where they're firmly in. a win here over Missouri today, I think puts them in the college football playoffs, I should say, pretty firmly. We'll see. When you look at Oklahoma's remaining schedule, they've got one game remaining with LSU next Saturday. So I think Oklahoma today, win and you're in. No questions about it. You lose today, I think you're out. I don't think there's any chance you're going to find a way, unless there's just complete pandemonium that happens in the rest of the league with those teams that are in front of you. Number 13, Miami is at Va Tech. Va Tech making a big splash this week with the hiring of James Franklin, the former Penn State head coach who was let go after this year. He was one play away from picking his team into the national championship game last season, lost 3 straight this year. He's out at Penn State. Now he's in Blacksburg. And this is huge for Virginia Tech because this was an area that James Franklin recruited very heavily with Penn State. So his stomping grounds is now going to overlap with what Penn State's going to have. And again, this is a guy that knows how to get the better players. So this was, I think, a big splash for Va Tech and the Hokies. But the Hokies, 3-7 on the season, 2-4 in the ACC. Miami, a big favorite to win this one down at Lane Stadium. At 12:45 today, Georgia entertains Charlotte, a 1-win Charlotte team. Georgia, a 43.5-point favorite in this one. Number 10, Alabama, today at 2, will entertain Eastern Illinois. Alabama ranked 10th after taking the one-score loss last week to Oklahoma at home. It was a 23-21 loss to then number 11 Oklahoma. And Alabama still with Auburn next week at 7:30 to finish things out. So I don't think Alabama's on the chopping block by any means, but Alabama's getting a screw job, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Today at 3:30, maybe the best game of the day. Number 16 USC, number 7 Oregon. Both teams 6-1 in the Big Ten. And I feel like that and this is the conspirators for me of the Notre Dame hate. But ever since Notre Dame and USC played, everything that USC has done, it has just been on a pedestal. It's like they lost to Notre Dame 34-24. They beat Nebraska, and then all of a sudden they show up in the top 25. They've beat Nebraska, Northwestern, and then got a 5-point win last week over Iowa. And look ahead, where's USC? They're in the top 15. Seriously? And it's like Notre Dame needed somebody to talk about that they've actually beaten that's ranked. So we've got to get USC in that conversation. Well, here they are. And now they're at Eugene in Austin Stadium to try to play against a Ducks team that I hope just absolutely stuffs it down their throat. Speaking of Notre Dame, they've got another hard game today. They're going to play 3-7 Syracuse today at 3:30 up in Notre Dame. A big opportunity today for number 14 Vanderbilt. They've got Kentucky coming in, and they've got a chance to go undefeated at home for the first time since 1982. And what a huge opportunity this is, obviously, for the Commodores, who have gone from the whipping post to a contender in the SEC. Now, are they in that upper echelon of the SEC? No. They're middle of the pack. They're 8-2, and they're tied with at 4-2 in the conference. They're tied with Texas, Oklahoma, and then Vanderbilt. Teams ahead of them: Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas A&M. Teams that you would expect to be at the top of that list. So, a heck of a job by Vanderbilt to get themselves in that spot. A tough loss to Texas when they fell behind huge and then came back and just didn't have enough time to finish it out. Looked like they were going to get run out of the stadium down in Austin and then end up making it a 3-point loss. But they do get some opportunities. A win today, and then they've got a game at Tennessee next week to maybe make a little bit of shifting if some stuff happens in front of them. So it's not all but out for Vanderbilt, but they are right now on the outside needing help. They have to win out first off, but they need help in front of them to get themselves in. They are an 8.5-point favorite today at home. Arkansas is in Austin against 17th-ranked Texas at 3:30 today. At 3:45, number 24-ranked Tulane, who currently holds the highest Group of 5 bid, they will be at Temple. Can a Group of 5 team, just for the love of God, finally say, okay, we're going to take this thing? We can't decide which team's going to be the Group of 5, and I'm telling you right now, whoever the Group of 5 champion is going to be, it's going to be an absolute, just a beatdown when they play the 5th-ranked team in the conference, because we've had several teams that have been in that position, and none of them have looked like they're going to be anywhere near what you expect to have it in. And I'm a big component of the Group of 5 because I get it. But at the same time, we're getting so much separation with the way this stuff sets up. You're going to put somebody out that really deserves to be in, that could make a run at a playoff run. But the fact of it is that, let's just be straight up honest. It is coming very soon. And you've heard me say this many times. It's coming sooner than later. You're going to see a separation between the Group of 5 and the Power 4. And again, will we get back to the Power 5 when you get the Pac-12 reestablished next year? I don't know. We'll see. But right now, you've got the Power 4, you've got the Group of 5. And I would totally see some form of separation that would make that a common usage. We'll see how it plays out either way. But Tulane, the Green Wave, 5-1 in the American Conference, trying to take care of business up in Lincoln Financial today. At 4 o'clock out in Salt Lake City, it's Kansas State at 12th-ranked Utah. Today at 4, number 18 Michigan is in Maryland. 23rd-ranked Houston entertaining TCU in a Big 12 showdown. Tonight at 7, Georgia Tech, 6-1 in the ACC, brings in Pitt, who, by the way, were ranked when they played Notre Dame, and then they got blown up. Now they're no longer ranked. So Georgia Tech today, only a 2.5-point favorite in this game, though, but still trying to keep suit in the ACC to try to win the ACC bid. And we'll talk about that in a second. Right now, they are tied at the top with Virginia at 6-1. Then you've got Pitt, SMU at 5-1, Miami at 4-2. But again, still some stuff to talk about as you go through that. Later on tonight, it's number 20 Tennessee in the Swamp against Florida at 7:30. Number 21 Illinois travels to Wisconsin. Tonight at 8, 11th-ranked BYU is at Cincinnati. And the final game in top 25 action, number 25 Arizona State is in Colorado. Okay, looking at the college football playoff rankings, here's where we are. So the top 3, no movement this past week: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. All 3 of those teams are safe. They're in no matter what happens from here. Now, we had teams that got movement because of Alabama's loss to Oklahoma. Now, here's the thing. Alabama lost by 2 to, at then, 11th-ranked Oklahoma, and Alabama fell 6 spots. Oklahoma moved up 3. Tell me where that makes sense. At any fathomable of an idea, where does that make any sense whatsoever? So either way, Georgia's 4th, Texas Tech's 5th, Ole Miss 6th, Oregon 7th, Oklahoma up to 8th. They moved up 3 positions, and they were the biggest movers of the week, moving up, along with Tennessee, who rose 3 spots. Then you've got Notre Dame at 9th, who did not move, by the way. Alabama fell 6 spots to 10th, which was, by the way, not the biggest mover of the week. Texas fell 7 spots down to 17th. BYU and Utah each came up 1 position to 11th and 12th, respectively. Now, again, the top 4 teams this year, it's not the conferences of the Power 4, or the top 4 group of conference champions, I should say, does not get the automatic buys. It's the top 4 teams that are in the college football playoff rankings. So as it speaks right now, Ohio State would be 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, Georgia's 4. Those 4 teams would receive first-round buys. Then your 5 through 12 would play at the highest or the lower ranking. So 5 would entertain 12, 6 would entertain 11, and so forth and so forth. Now, the interesting thing is, though, there's still some stipulations that are in there that your Power 4 conferences, all 4 of those get an automatic bid. Doesn't mean that they have to get an automatic bye, but they get an automatic bid. So what happens is right now is Miami is your highest ranked ACC team. So if Miami were to win the ACC, which right now they're not, but they happen to be the highest ranked team from the ACC, they would then bump out BYU for 11th. Then you have to bring in your group of 5 champion. And your group of 5 champion, unless they happen to be ranked in the top 12, higher than 12th, is always going to be the 12th team. In this case, that's the situation. And you're going to bring in the American champion of Tulane, which then bumps out Utah. So the big person that is kind of on the bubble here is Alabama. And the fact with Alabama, and this is the thing that drives me insane about this, is you lose to a team that's ranked in the top 25, that's ranked 11th in Oklahoma by 2 points, and you fall 6 spots behind Notre Dame, who has played nobody, and the 2 ranked opponents that they played, they lost to in the 2 first games of the regular season. You put Notre Dame into the SEC, and they are a 6-6 team at best every year, making them play an SEC conference schedule. You look at Alabama's schedule this year. They've beaten, at the time, number 5 Georgia in Athens, by the way, 24-21. They beat Vanderbilt, who was 16th at the time, 30-14. They beat Missouri in Columbia, 27-24. They beat Tennessee, 37-20. All 4 of those teams were ranked. They beat South Carolina, 29-22, and then a 2-point loss to Oklahoma, and makes them fall 6 places. Why? Why does it make them fall 6 places? Why was it not 5? Why did that not move them to at least only ahead of Notre Dame? Because the committee does not want Notre Dame to be anywhere near that 11th position. They want to give them a little bit of a buffer to make certain there's some wiggle room to get them through. And I just don't get it. You hear about the SEC talking about adding another conference game. Why in God's creation would the SEC want to go play another conference game? Because it is very clear that the College Football Playoff Committee has made it very, very blatantly loudly heard that we don't give a crap about your conference schedule or your strength of schedule, which used to be the big question about this whole thing was how much was your strength of schedule. That was always the big criteria there. Win your conference and strength of schedule. Well, Alabama's strength of schedule compared to Notre Dame's strength of schedule is not even close. It's like a JV football team compared to an NFL team. And yet the College Football Playoff Committee comes out in the rankings this last week and says, we don't care about your strength of schedule. Go play another SEC team if you want to, but we're going to keep a Notre Dame and their Fighting Irish awesome schedule and their independence alive with putting them 9th ahead of Alabama. And if I'm Alabama, I'm ticked. If I'm the SEC, I'm ticked. Because, again, the basics of it is, as the SEC, you want as many teams as possible in that playoff because there is a divvy of money that goes out to your conference. The more you have in, the more you're going to get. So, obviously, if you can bump out Notre Dame and bring another team back in, that's huge. But it's unfathomable to think how many free passes that Notre Dame continues to get week after week after week. Their 2 losses to then number 10 Miami, 27-24, and we've all seen where the committee thinks Miami sits. They're on the outside looking in. So what does that tell you about what they think about that win of Miami? Okay? And then at the time, number 16 Texas A&M, 41-40 loss, whose A&M is now up to third. Since then, the only team they've played was at the time was number 20 USC, and they beat them by 10. And then all of a sudden, USC dropped out of the top 25. They beat Nebraska, and back in the top 25 they come. It's like, we got to get them back in there. You got Pitt in the top 25. They were ranked 22nd. They got beat 37-15. Guess where Pitt is? Not in the top 25 anymore. You've got Syracuse and Stanford. That's all that's left for Notre Dame. And if the college football gods want to smile down on this season, for the love of God and all that's holy in the world of college football, please let Stanford beat Notre Dame. That would be so fitting to do that and just end all the confusion and the heckling and the hype all right there. Just put them out of the misery right there, and don't allow the committee to have that opportunity to find a way to finagle them in somehow or way. And I don't know. I'm a Notre Dame hater because of the fact they get so much free pass for being an independent school. And when you put apples to apples and compare what they pick, these conferences, these Power Four conferences, they are stuck by playing the teams they have to play within their conference. Back when I was covering Marshall, and Marshall was always making a run at that Group of Five bid, the whole thing Marshall had against it was their strength of schedule. It was awful. Well, the problem is, the basics of it is that when you're in a conference, you are set to play the conference schedule that you have in front of you. That's all you have. You don't have an option. You have to play who's there. Well, you try to schedule these other teams and you get what you get. Well, Notre Dame doesn't have to do that. They get to go out and handpick their schedule. And they can schedule their cupcakes or their Army and Navy games and their Stanford game at the end of the year, and then sprinkle in a few ACC teams here or there, and they'll play a couple of teams at the beginning of the year. But you notice they always play their biggest games within the first 2 weeks. Why? Because the College Football Playoff Committee has shown very clearly, we don't care what you did in August and September. We care what you did in November. It's what have you done for me lately? If you're going to lose under the playoff format, do it in August and September. Because by the time that November and December rolls around, nobody's going to remember that. They're not even going to consider it. They might as well just throw those games out. They're just looking at, and then try to say, well, we judged it week after week, and I've seen them do this before. And then all of a sudden they go, now we're going to look at the whole spectrum. Well, why aren't you looking at the whole spectrum the whole stinking time? I don't get that. It's there. Why not judge it on the same criteria for the entire year until then we get to the final playoff rankings, and now we're looking at it over a different microscope? I don't know. Maybe so we've got something to talk about like this. Either way. All right, let's step out for a break. We come back, we'll shift over to the NFL. One game in the books, and it was a big matchup that turned into a seismic loss for one of those two teams. That's as we continue here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Looking for the latest archery gear? Check out Borders Sporting Goods for your best selection of Hoyt and Matthews bows, as well as 10-point crossbows with a full selection of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with a full selection of benchmark and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small you need to keep your firearms safe. Before your next hunting excursion, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. My place for the game?
Zach, you never have food.
I'm going to Clark's Pump and Shop. I'm loading up on crispy crunchy chicken, Hanger 54 pizza, and chips.
Well then, I'm in. And way to support the family business.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family, because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations, or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical homes, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLGC.
Back on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network as we step back inside the octagon and over into NFL. Texans over the Bills Thursday Night Football. It was the first time in 9 meetings that Josh Allen on Thursday Night Football has ever lost. He was 8-0 coming into this game. But it was a 20-16 lead for the Texans at the break. And both teams combined for 6 points, 2 field goals, one for the Texans in the third, the Bills one in the fourth. As the Texans win it to get above 500 with a 23-19 victory over the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, all of a sudden, looks like the quarterback from 2 years ago. He doesn't look like last year. He looks very unsettled, making some very suspect throws again. Had 2 interceptions in this game. Had a pick six that was called back. That would have been huge in that moment of the game. But the interception stood, but a penalty negated the pick six because they did take it all the way to the house. But the Buffalo Bills just do not look very good. And I think Sean McDermott is on the hot seat 100%. You know, he's had his time there. I'm not a guy, I talked about this last week when I said, there's so many people, they're just like, all of a sudden, let's flip the switch. You've had a year, too bad, sorry, get out. Sean McDermott's had his time there. And I don't know that he's made the most of his time in Buffalo to make it to the point to where this Buffalo team, with all the potential and the upside that it's had, has been able to get anything out of it. But Buffalo, all of a sudden, at 7-4, going the opposite direction of the New England Patriots, who have a chance to put a 3-game lead between them and Buffalo for the AFC East. But the Texans on the other side of this, too, by the way, doing this without C.J. Stroud. You've got Davis Mills, who's the quarterback, who went 16 of 30 for 153 and 2 tutties. And it's, you look at Josh Allen, what did he do? 24 of 34, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 8 times. Now, how much is that is a testament of what the Texans' defense is at the same time of how much of that is how bad the Buffalo Bills' offensive line is? And I think you kind of halfway see what you do there. James Cook, a phenomenal game. He had the one big run that kind of skews his numbers a little bit. 17 carries for 116, a touchdown of 45 was his long run. Khalil Shakir, 8 catches for 110. He was targeted 10 times. But this was no knocks against the Houston Texans fan. This was a bad loss for the Buffalo Bills. This was a game they needed to keep pace with the New England Patriots in the East, who have a vital opportunity to really push out some major separation between them and the Bills. All right, let's look at games in the 1 o'clock hour tomorrow. The Steelers are at the Bears. This one should be a good one. The big question in this one is Aaron Rodgers going to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers? And my question is, yes. He will play unless they basically put him in a straitjacket. He has had a lot of success at Soldier Field. So, playing as a member of the Packers, he's played Soldier Field many times. This one's a big one for the Steelers at 6-4 to keep pace in the AFC, just the AFC as a whole. not only just the AFC North, but in the AFC as a whole. The Chicago Bears, under head coach Ben Johnson, in his first season there, has shown that, hey, we're figuring some things out. And Caleb Williams has not been terrible. He's not been great, but he's not been terrible. But 13 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, that'll get some stuff done. He's got Rome Odunze, who's caught 6 touchdowns and 600 yards. The Bears are making that step forward. And right now, lead their division in the NFC North. But this one's a really good matchup between two teams that are on that teeter-tottering position of where they truly are going forward. The Patriots are in Cincinnati. They'll go up against the 3-7 Bengals. The question on this one is Joe Burrow going to play? And my thing is, if Joe Burrow comes out and plays in this football game, he deserves everything that he gets. If that means he gets sacked 9 times, a broken leg, a fractured rib, whatever, there is zero reason Joe Burrow should play in this football game. Joe Burrow honestly needs to look and say, until you pay to get me an offensive line that's going to keep me from getting destroyed and having CTE before I'm 30, I'm not playing anymore. You don't obviously care about taking care of the franchise of the program, which is me. And if you're not going to pay to protect me, then find somewhere else for me to go. I don't know how Joe Burrow continues to go back to Cincinnati year after year. And for a meaningless game for the Bengals, who are, I mean, they're less than 1% of making the playoffs. This game has nothing for Joe Burrow to do anything for whatsoever. You look at the Bengals' remaining schedule. Right now, they're at 3-7. They're 2 games behind Baltimore for second in the AFC North. Pittsburgh sits at 6-4. You've got the trip to the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Then you go, no, check that. That's on the 27th. That is Thursday Night Football on Peacock. Okay, so on Thanksgiving. Then you go to the Bills, Ravens at home on the 14th, at the Dolphins, and then still to play against the Cardinals and the Browns. And I just don't know why the Bengals would risk bringing Joe Burrow in for this football game. Again, I get it. Joe Flacco is beat up. He's trying to hold what little bit of body that he has left hanging on to him together to try to get through this one. But we'll see. Giants are at the Lions, Vikings, Packers, Seahawks, Titans, Colts at the Chiefs. Chiefs a must-win here. This one will tell you a lot about what they've got going on. Jets are at the Ravens. In the 4 o'clock hour, it's the Browns, Raiders, Jaguars, Cardinals, Eagles, Cowboys, Falcons, Saints. Sunday Night Football, good one, Bucks at the Rams. And the Monday Night Football is the Panthers and the 49ers. All right, we'll take a final break. We come back. It's the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. That's what we continue here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Looking for the latest archery gear? Check out Borders Sporting Goods for your best selection of Hoyt and Matthews bows, as well as 10-point crossbows with a full selection of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with a full selection of benchmark and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small you need to keep your firearms safe. Before your next hunting excursion, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. My place for the game?
Zach, you never have food.
I'm going to Clark's Pump and Shop. I'm loading up on crispy crunchy chicken, Hanger 54 pizza, and chips.
Well then, I'm in. And way to support the family business.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family, because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations, or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Fox News, I'm Paul Stevens. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene stepping down from Congress, criticizing fellow Republicans.
During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass the plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies.
Her last day, January 5th, President Trump meeting with New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani at the White House on Friday.
I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. And some very liberal people, he won't surprise them because they already like him.
Mamdani said their talk focused on affordability. 4 people shot and wounded at a Christmas tree lighting ceremony Friday night in Concord, North Carolina. America's listening to Fox News.
If you
Sports scores, interviews, and more. This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLTC.
Back inside the Octagon on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network. Time for the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. Borders Sporting Goods US 60 in Canonsburg for your hunting and fishing needs, as well as those Liberty gun safes. You'll see Brad and the gang out there. They'll get you all squared away. They've got tons of stuff going on. The Black Friday sale, Liberty gun safes, again, with that lifetime warranty. They've got delivery available. Tons of special prices on guns, fishing, Hoyt and Matthews bows, case and buck knives, Benchmade knives as well. They will be open on Black Friday. And, again, you can visit them online at bordersportinggoods.com. Gift cards available. If you don't know what to get somebody, hey, just go out there and get them a gift card. They'll get you all squared away. Before I get into that, real quickly, coming up this Wednesday night on Kool TV, you can catch the high school basketball preview show. Jacob Hankins and myself, we've been traveling around the 16th region. We've got a ton of teams that we've gotten out to, both boys and girls, but that will air this Wednesday night at 7 right here on Kool TV, and we'll get you all ready. Again, we're about a week away. A little bit over a week away from that start of the regular season. 2 weeks away, I'm sorry. First week of December, but we get going from there. It's Thanksgiving, guys, coming up, and it's one of those times you get into holidays and you see so many families that they just don't connect for whatever reason, and it's one of those times that it's a stressful time of the year, obviously, when you get into the holidays for a lot of people, and sometimes it's just we completely forget the meaning of the holidays. And the holidays for me, it's about family. It's about getting with my family, being with my family, and sharing times and memories. And it's not about going out and doing this or spending this or it's just being with my family. It doesn't have to be anything special. Just an opportunity to spend time with the people that I love and that mean the most to me. So as you travel into this holiday season with Thanksgiving coming up and, of course, Christmas on the other side, if you've had that connection with a family member broken, find a way to connect that because, again, it's one of those deals that, the only thing that we're guaranteed in life is death. And at some point, that connection is not going to be able to be remade. So it's always easier to do it and try to make that connection before it's too late. So the only thing I leave you with this week is if you have family, enjoy that time. Cherish that moment. If you have family that's broken, find a way to make that mend. It's a very important time. And family, again, it's the only thing that we've got that we're guaranteed to have in this crazy time that we have is just the love that we get from our family. That's it for us this week. Enjoy the weekend. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. For Dwayne Elliott, I'm James Collier. Have a great weekend, everyone.
You've been listening to Across the Line with James Collier on 105.7 WLGC FM and the Total Media Sports Network. Tune in each Saturday morning beginning at 10 for the latest news and analysis from inside the Octagon of Sports on 105.7